Today we have a very special guest. First off, I don't know how to play the guitar at all. This is totally behind me stage. This is not my house. We're starting to record remotely. But the problem with that is my new place, which I'm in, the fan didn't work in my office and the fan has a light on it. And so I would have just been podcasting in the dark, which is untenable. So I'm next door at the neighboring place. And it looks nice. So I got the fire on. I got the dog in the background there.
Better than a concrete wall.
Better than a concrete. Yeah, but you got that bear over the back of your.
Oh, I do have my bear rug.
Yeah. Anyway, so we have Dan. Dan, you want to introduce yourself and tell everybody in the on the internet what you do?
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on here. My name is Dan Pickar. I work for Eastmans. I do most of the bow hunting here in-house. A little bit of everything, though, for the company, from writing to editing to hunting and filming and everything else that you can think of, digital and print media.
Yeah. You, we were talking before Jared got on here. You have a pretty cool job. I mean, like, you literally get paid to go hunting.
Yeah, I do.
You know?
Yep. It's a fraction of the year, probably a quarter of the year, but it's a big part of why I'm here. And what we do here is attaining media and hunting and filming, and it's awesome for sure. It's a ton of work. This is my 8th or 9th season, but it never gets old.
What's up? We are going to thank a few of these sponsors that help make this beautiful show a reality for all of you. So Here we go.
First up.
Let's start out with Bivouac.
Bivouac Bow Co. I shoot trad most of the time.
I don't.
Jared doesn't. When I shoot traditional archery, I shoot the Bivouac Backland bow. They're a sponsor of ours. They're great partners, make great bows, and they know a ton about everything.
So a big reason, I would say, to why we're so successful and we have so many bucks on the wall is because we use HuntWise. HuntWise is a GPS mapping app that you can download on any phone, any platform. You can look up public land huntings, ORV trails. You can get the weather. They actually have a HuntCast 2.0 that they teamed up with Jeff Sturgis to make. It's awesome. You need to check this thing out. Go to HuntWise, download the app.
I feel like if you go into the woods without optics, it's like going into the woods without pants on. Would you agree with that?
To a point.
We are huge fans of running binoculars, spotting scopes, and different things when we hunt, even whitetail. I bring binoculars out every time I go. We choose Vortex Optics because they make the best glass in the business. They have an amazing warranty, super clear glass, super helpful people that work there.
Also, if you want to rep some sweet Vortex swag like this warm shirt on a nice fall day, head over to Vortex Wear. Thank you. And use the promo code TFC20 for 20% off your purchase. Saddle game, you need to be in it. If you haven't been in it yet, then you don't know what you're missing.
Yeah.
Trophy Line Tree Sales makes some of the best saddles in the industry. They have 3 different platforms that we use and that are awesome.
I want to make a quick plug for the Wingman with a couple steps. You can take one less step, stick, and it's like a combination of a stick and a platform. I've been exclusively hunting out of it this year, and my mobile setup is so sweet. I'm very proud of it.
Awesome.
I highly recommend the Wingman system.
If you're ready to pull the trigger on that and you want to get with James and do the Wingman, head over to their website and you can save yourself 10% on the purchase. TFC10 will get you that. I like to think I single-handedly got James to switch to compound again, but I'd probably be a liar and everyone would call me out on that. We shoot prime bows. We think they're awesome. Great accuracy, super shootable.
Made here in Michigan.
Made in Michigan, so we love that. It's hard to complain.
That's where Jared was made. So
surprisingly,
we like that. Yeah.
Welcome. So go check out these prime bows.
We are of a firm belief that the arrow is the lifeblood of the archery industry. We've said it 1,000 times. But in all seriousness, we are huge fans of arrows that are durable, that fly well, and that kind of make up for some of my inaccuracies in the way that I shoot. So we shoot Vector custom arrows. The hammer.
That's Thor.
They are made in Wisconsin by our buddy Isaac. Great arrows. And if you want to go and get yourself some, have a little bit of a discount, use TFC10 for 10% off. Or call Isaac up and tell him we sent you.
Mm-hmm. You want his phone number? Comment below.
Yep, comment below.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I've seen a lot of your stuff Beyond the Grid TV, for people who are listening. Right? Did I get that right?
Yep. Beyond the Grid. We're on YouTube and Vimeo and what's the other platform? Wow, it's slipping my head.
Vimeo. Oh, it's YouTube. Did you say YouTube?
Yeah. YouTube and Waypoint TV. That's the other one. I don't know.
That's
how I can
right.
think of it. Yeah. But yeah, it's a digital series. We also have our TV show on the Outdoor Channel, Eastman's Hunting. But yeah, we're really ramping up the digital YouTube series for sure, called Beyond the Grid.
Yeah, it's fun. I was telling you, I watch it on occasion. Like I'll be at work and I'll be doing like very mindless activities or something, and I'll pop a little hunting show on. A lot of times it's some of your guys' stuff. A lot of Western hunting, which is not really what we do, being in Michigan, at least on a regular basis. So it's kind of exciting to watch and see, the adventures you guys get yourself into.
Yep. Yeah, we kind of experience a little bit of everything, and you never know what you're going to run into out there, whether it's grizzly bears or a moose at point blank or who knows what else.
Now you're in Wyoming. You're outside. You said you're outside of Cody. How far does it take for you to get to the grizzly bear country?
Well, there were actually a couple grizzly bears euthanized down here 10 minutes from town on the river that were denning on the Shoshone River. They're really expanding and running everywhere. So they can be down here in the valley, but I would say as a whole, 30 minutes, you're in bear country. Heck, maybe even 15 minutes.
That's Jared. That's from my house to your house, Jared. That long of a drive, I'd be in Grizz country.
You're in Grizz country every time you come over, buddy.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, that's true. You and your chewing tobacco.
Yeah.
Do you what's your thought? What's your opinion about grizz? Like, do you like to be in the woods with the grizzly bear, or are you not a huge fan of that? Or what's your thoughts on the grizz?
Yeah, I mean, just like anything else, as long as it's managed properly under the Western conservation model, which is the North American big game model, should I say, I'm good with it. But it's a political thing. Grizzly bears are 100% politically controlled, and I think that's absolute nonsense.
That's kind of how it goes with everything, isn't it, though?
Yeah, anything that's controversial, for whatever reason, the predators, the grizzly bears and the wolves, and if you have an opponent like the wolf lovers and grizzly bear lovers, then you're going to have resistance. And I don't know, maybe not as many people care about elk or deer because nobody really complains that we hunt them. So definitely, a controversial subject and a situation. And I do know that it's getting bad. And I think we're up to 60 grizzly bears were euthanized by game and fish agencies in the greater Yellowstone ecosystem, or just the range of the grizzly bear, from just problem bears to calf killers to highway fatalities. It's crazy. It really is.
Think about hitting a griz on the highway with your car. That would be just a nuts.
That'd be a scene.
That would be a scene. I think grizzly are great. Like I was telling you before the show, I go out past or around Cody, I feel like every year at some point. And just the idea of a bear or something else being in the woods like that is exciting. Like for us, we're getting more black bears spreading in the state, which to me is like awesome. This summer, for the first time, we had bears up in my cabin in Big Rapids, like around. They're getting in the beehives and stuff, which I know is a problem for the guy with the beehives, but it's pretty cool to have new things around big animals not that far away from your house, I think.
Oh, definitely. No, it's just another element out there. And we have a lot of black bears too, but I don't know. I'd say we view it a little bit differently just because, well, I've grown up with lions and bears and wolves and stuff. So it's kind of just, ho hum.
Right.
For us. Probably take it for granted, but
yeah, that's squirrels, I think, is the equivalent, Jared, for the Eastern woods. We have squirrels and
just peppered with them. You can take half of them if you want.
Yeah,
I can go with less.
So Dan, how'd you get connected with Eastmans? I mean, that's it's like pretty iconic, well-known hunting publication? Like how do you go from, being some guy on the street to the guy that's, running cameras, or not running in front of cameras, and editing and writing and all this stuff?
It was kind of just by happenstance. It's something that I wouldn't say that I shaped my life around it, or my life goal was to work here. I would say that as a kid, I viewed it as something unattainable to an average Joe like me. So I don't know whether you want to call it a God thing, or luck, or just, knowing the right people. That probably was the biggest thing, just networking, and got lucky. And, I think God played a role in it too. But I was a hunting guide right out of college. I got a 4-year degree in political science and media arts. And when I was going to college in the summers, I'd work for the Forest Service in the Bob Marshall Wilderness.
Cool.
And do a lot of horse packing and mule packing, and really got to work with livestock a lot. So jumping back forward, the reason I told you about the livestock use is that kind of played a big role into my guiding career and working for a few different outfitters, because that's a skill set that outfitters look for if you're doing a backcountry style hunt, is stock use and being comfortable around them and knowing them. So that played a big role. But it was actually, I had a couple gaps in my fall, and I did some fill-in guiding for another outfit outside of Bozeman, Montana. And the guy that I guided with that week, he was actually a fill-in guide, and he guides 1 or 2 weeks out of the year. And he at the time was writing for Eastmans, and he was new-ish there as well. He'd probably been doing some work for a couple of years, but he lived in Montana as well, and he wasn't an in-office guy. And it was at that point in time when Nate Simmons had left the company as basically the bow hunter, the digital media guy that they had here before me. And so they were kind of in limbo with, not having an archery guy, but having the need for one. And I met Jordan, and he was like, man, I think you'd be a great fit, to do some filming and work for Eastmans. And he told me that, Guy and I said that if I could find a camera guy, that I could do some bow hunts next year on video. And he's like, I think you'd be perfect for it. And I was like, heck yeah, count me in. And it was at the time in my life too, just a transitional time in my life, kind of finding direction. I was a 3 years post-college graduate, just trying to decide what I wanted to do. And so that next fall, I drew a Wyoming deer tag, and I went down and I killed a 200-inch mule deer with my bow, and then filmed 6 episodes that fall with Jordan for the TV show. And then that winter, they were like, hey, we need to get this Dan guy down here. And they asked if I wanted to move to Wyoming, and I was like, yep.
You were in Montana before, did you say?
Yep. Outside of Bozeman. Yep. So it's only 3 hours away, but I'm just, like I said, I was at the stage in my life where I could pick up and go and do anything really. And, Jordan has a family, and he's established in Montana, and Brian Barney kind of same thing. So they're kind of, I guess you call them subcontractors for the company, but
right.
They were looking for a full-time guy in the office. And so, I didn't hesitate. And that was in 2013, and haven't looked back since.
So you graduated 2010?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. 2010 was when
I graduated too. Where'd you go to college?
University of Montana.
Ah, nice.
Yep. Missoula. I grew up in the Flathead Valley up in Northwest Montana.
Okay. Sure.
So I stayed close to home up there. I went to the community college up there for a couple of years and kind of figured out what direction I wanted to take. So I stayed close to home for the most part.
Poli-sci.
Yeah, crazy, huh?
That was my major as well, actually.
Oh, really?
Well, it was poli-sci.
Oh boy, here we go.
It was really international relations, but that's like under the umbrella of poli-sci, at least at Calvin, where I went to college. And so that's what I studied. So it's good to have. Jared, you don't know, dude. You wouldn't even understand the political things we could talk about.
We'll need to.
It's very high-minded stuff, I'm sure.
That's why I'm always helping you with your technical gear.
That's right. Yeah. Do you see I did this setup though?
You did. I was very and just so everyone who's listening, it has been 3 years since we've been doing this podcast. And James is still, till this day, had to set up the correct way of setting up this podcast.
Oh yeah. Well, sometimes I'll get there. Hey, easy. So story. No. Today I took my dog. He's a quarter beagle, 3/4 Cavalier. Hey, knock it off, dude. I take him for a walk in like kind of like this like a, I don't know, big chunk of public land, and basically letting him run around a little bit. Now he's stuck on. You gotta stop it, buddy. And so I'm walking out, and this old guy comes up in a minivan, and he's just kind of rolling like idle speed, maybe 3 miles an hour. And so I go on the other side of the car, and I'm talking to him. Before he gets there, I'm trying to get Comet, my dog, to come across the road, and he's not coming. He's doing some dicking around. And finally, he decides to quick run across the road right as the car is there. And all of a sudden, I hear the car. Either he ran into the car or the car hit him today, going like 3 miles an hour. And I'm like, oh no. The guy's like,
Shouldn't laugh.
I think I hit your. Did I just hit your dog? I'm like, yeah, I think you hit my dog, but he was fine, obviously. So my dog got hit by a car today, but he's fine. No big deal. No. So anyways, poli-sci, that's interesting. Did you ever have it where you're like, man, what am I doing? I'm working for in the outdoor industry, and this is not what I probably planned for my life, going to school for poli-sci, or is this kind of something that you kind of thought was happening the whole time?
Yeah, no, I didn't really have it planned. My intent with poli-sci was to be a teacher. I would call it my backup plan.
Sure.
When I was at the age, but my minor in media arts, I was very interested in filming, and we grew up filming all our hunts. And so I just wanted to get better at it and do the video editing. And I really enjoyed that. And I kind of got to the point where I was like, man, I should have done media arts as a major. And it was kind of too late to turn back. And I'm one of those guys that at the time I was like, well, if I can just get a 4-year degree, a lot of employers, that's what they want, is it says you're trainable, right, and you're hireable. Yeah, you got your BA and you're good. And so that's kind of where I was, and I didn't have like a specific passion to be a high school government teacher.
Sure.
So
that sounds bad, actually.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, you have to be a patient person.
Oh yeah.
A lot of idiots in high school. I know I was an idiot in high school, and I knew Jared in high school, and I can tell you, big total idiot. Not a brain to be had.
Yeah, I'm glad I came this other direction, and I got into guiding, and I was like, man, this is great. And I didn't own a house at the time or anything, so I could work seasonally, and it was a cool gig with the outfit that I worked at, where I did ranch work all spring and summer, and I rode drift boats and did fly fishing trips and hunting in the fall. So it was a cool gig for 8 months out of the year. I stayed pretty darn busy.
Yeah. And the other 2 you slept, or the other 4 you slept to make up for lost sleep. You don't get a lot of sleep as a guide, it seems like.
Nah, no. That's why I don't really miss it. I don't do too much of it anymore. So
just beats the tar out of you, or what?
Oh, it does. Especially the 5-week Montana general season. You're October 25th to the Sunday after Thanksgiving. So it's cold, it's windy, and 5 a.m. mornings every morning, saddling horses and riding up the mountain in the dark. And it really takes it out of you, for sure.
Yeah. We talk about this sometimes, Jared and I, like when we'll go on longer trips, even just like deer hunting out east, where we're camping or something. It seems like day 4 or 3 or 4 in a row, where you get up, you strap your tree saddle and your sticks on, and you get to the tree, and you got to climb up the tree, and it's all each stick you have to mess around with, you have to set your platform, you have to pull up all your stuff, and it's like a couple days of it's fine, but you hit a point where it's like, man, this feels very tedious. I think I might just hunt on the ground today.
Mm-hmm.
So I would imagine if you're working for somebody else, saddling horses and doing like way more stuff, that's rough.
Yeah, for sure. And it gets better after a year or two. Then you got return clients and guys that want to hunt with you every year, and then you kind of know what to expect. But in the beginning, I mean, you're not having any idea on who you're getting paired with or who you're hunting with, and you don't know their abilities. You don't know if they can even get on a horse, number one.
Mm-hmm.
And so then you got to work around that. And so it's definitely stressful.
Can you
How
get
do you
on a horse?
how do you
Jared?
plan for that? Like, do you have just different hunting methods and styles and locations you can get to based off of your clients?
Yeah, for sure. You can
Yeah.
only hunt as good as your client can hunt. I mean, that's kind of the rule of thumb.
I mean, that's
So,
so then you have a bunch of backup plans ready to go.
yes, yeah, like 5 or 6 different plans, and you go to exhaust all of them, or you kill one.
When you see a couple of guys like, Jared and I show up, young go hards, like, do you take them far out and just like, give them a real hunt, or how do you decide that?
Yeah, I mean, depending on what experience you're looking for, would kind of shape that as well. I mean, I don't want to do something that you don't want to do. And I had young guys that were like, I don't care what we have to do. I just want to kill a bull.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well, we're going to do whatever we have to do. And if that's camping up on the mountain in a tent, we'll do that. But I mean, it was a lodge hunt, so it wasn't like, super hardcore of a outfit to go elk hunting. I wouldn't say it's a fat man's hunt. We still had to, work our tails off, but we're coming back to the lodge every night and good meals and that sort of thing. And if we got
pretty sweet.
yeah, no, it was cool. It was cool. If we got snow, then we're shooting elk down by the barn by the highway. So if you have the right weather, it was pretty easy. But on days or seasons that you didn't have the snow and you didn't have the weather, then you're going up on top of the mountain, like a 5-6 mile horse ride one way and staying till dark and then riding down in the dark. So
yeah. Jared loves to hunt the highway.
Deer love the highway.
The deer love the highway.
Yep. Yeah, it's amazing. Actually, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on whitetail hunting and what these guys are doing out there and shooting big bucks by the road.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the biggest bucks I've seen the last couple of years have been this year, and a piece of land that's not far off the road. And I've seen them a lot. So I don't know, man. You know what? They're always dead on the road. Like, they have to be near it at some point. You know what I'm saying? If you wait long enough, they're gonna show up.
That's how you do your scouting. You just drive the highway and see how many roadkill you find.
I will say
that's not a bad idea, though.
Not a bad idea.
I might take that.
I have in the past, planning a hunt out of state and a hunt, looked at those numbers in counties to determine where I hunt. I'm not gonna lie.
That's not a bad statistic to check out.
A little nerdy,
Honestly.
but I wanted to get it right. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to 2 counties that you're not sure about, any numbers that can put it over the edge, I'm taking into consideration.
Yep.
There's either a lot of deer there or a bunch of idiots being like, bet you can't hit that deer.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just hunting with a car. Oh, that's cool. So you're at Eastman's now. And you said, you have a brief part of the year where you're going hard and hunting and kind of that's doing that cool thing. The rest of the year you're creating, what do you write? You're writing articles. You said, what other kinds of things are you doing?
Yeah, I do blogs for our e-blast. I write articles for the magazine. I'll do rough cuts of my episodes. So I'll kind of put the story together and then send it to our editor that does all the final touches. So I'll do a little bit of that. Then part of Tag Hub is our research section, or the MRS section, the members research section in the magazine. I do the state of Utah, so all the statistic and odds and research for that. I do that as well, and that takes up a fair portion of the spring, as application season is ramping up. I'm pretty busy with that. And then we do a bunch of, shows and the networking and live events. So, SHOT Show and ATA I've gone to a few times. So that's always a lot of fun, meeting with sponsors and, seeing hunting buddies. And so, yeah, networking, I would say is probably a big part of what we do here as well.
Yeah.
It's about relationships, just like with anything.
Yeah, so absolutely.
So that's a big part. And like last summer, we went down to Black Rifle Coffee Company and we did a live event for them. Basically, I wouldn't say a how-to on to hunt elk and mule deer in the high country, but just kind of a Western hunting class for people that want to get into it. So we have a variety of different events that we do and potential that we can do, just depending on what a host wants us to do.
So you're into actively recruiting new hunters? Is that the recruit retain?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're into
Yep.
that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big part of the company's mission statement for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a debate that seems to be starting right now, which is an interesting thing.
Yep.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. What is it? What's the other R in R3? Retain, recruit, something else with an R.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. And you get a lot of time to go hunting yourself, I'm hoping.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of hunting time for myself, bow hunts, starting in August. I didn't even draw an antelope tag this year. Going back to the recruitment, there's so many hunters now, you can't hardly get a tag that I used to get. Yeah, I can't hardly get tags anymore. So I went without an antelope tag last year. I did some general hunts in September. And so September's definitely my most busy month. I think I was home maybe 3 or 4 days out of the whole month.
Nice.
And most bow seasons are winding down by the middle of October. And so I'll hunt with buddies and film for Beyond the Grid. We killed a lot of big bulls this year. We killed 4 bulls over 345 this year. So we have a lot of elk coming up, all public land stuff. My wife, she drew 5 tags this year. She killed her first bull and a couple antelope. And so, man, it was a busy year, but I do a lot of filming in October. And then I love deer hunting. I love whitetail hunting. So I always try to get out and do a November whitetail hunt somewhere.
You going anywhere this year? Did you go anywhere this year?
I drew a type 3 tag in Wyoming this year, which is a whitetail only tag for the month of November. And yeah, I shot a 4-point down. Oh, I guess you call it an 8-pointer.
That's an 8-pointer.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yeah.
I need to work on my lingo. I am buying points in Iowa though. I'm going to go bow hunt Iowa here, and probably I need 2 more points. So
that's a 6-year thing, right? Iowa.
3 points.
It is.
Yeah, I think where I'm. Yeah, north.
How do we do that, Jared? Maybe I'm doing that
because we're idiots.
Yeah, we are idiots. Well, it takes planning.
We're just too lazy. Yeah, we're not planning.
What's Iowa border? Is Michigan that doesn't border Iowa, does it? You got Minnesota.
I wish it did.
Minnesota does on, I think, the corner.
Yep. Okay. So, I mean, if you guys were going to go hunt whitetails out of state, where would you go?
Well, we did Wisconsin 2 years ago.
Okay.
We did a little hunting actually in West Virginia last year.
Mm-hmm.
This year we did an island in the up in Michigan, 11 miles off the coast, which was really cool. I don't know where we should find another. I think actually this January, mid-January, try to head down to Alabama because they have like a late run that starts in January, which I've never hunted before and would really like to check. Plus it's like new vacation days. So they start New Year, so it's like I get bonus. I've basically used all my vacation days is what I'm trying to say. So I can't do any out-of-state hunts until January 1. So anyways, yeah, I mean stuff like that. But if I had to like pick one, I don't know. They're all different. I've hunted Illinois. You've hunted Illinois, Jared. I don't know.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's the cool thing is you have so many options back east. The states are smaller. You don't we all this out west, our states are so big, and to drive across, it's like if you're going to go anywhere that has any distance, I mean, it's going to be a long drive or you got to fly. But
yeah, you guys, and I will say out west, you tolerate longer drives.
Oh yeah.
And the farther east you go, like I went to law school in New Jersey, and if something was 10 minutes away, that's too far. That's like a century away.
Wow.
I think around us, like 20 minutes, 20, maybe 25 is like reasonable for a drive.
Gotcha. Yep.
That's why Jared living in BF Door, which is like 30 minutes away. That's too far, man.
No, the thing is he moved away.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's true.
So how can you
can't argue with that? I got nothing to say.
I'm saying.
So you
well, yeah, just everything's so spread out. I'll drive two hours to go fishing, in the summer.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
brutal, man.
Yeah,
I think if you could go 10 minutes down the road and just pop in some kind of retention pond and pick out some bass. I mean, that's
that are chomping on fertilizer and
they're weird looking.
McDonald.
You don't want to eat those fish, but they are. You can find some giant bass in some of those ponds.
Yes, you can. Some lunkers.
Oh, no doubt. That's funny you say that because I was looking at our stocking reports in Wyoming, and I could only find one lake that has bass in Wyoming, in north
Really?
central Wyoming. Yeah, we just don't have them out here, but we have a lot of trout. And usually if I'm going to drive 2 or more hours to go fishing, I can also fly fish, and I'm also scouting for elk or whatever. Definitely like a multi-purpose trip.
Yeah, no, that's very understandable. And actually, most of the time that I'm fishing around here, I'm doing the same thing.
I think
I would check out places.
I think I would enjoy the 2-hour drive out, because every time I go on a lake, at least around in the area, there's boats on the lake. There's other people on there. I would just want to go away and go fishing. If there's no one else around, and I'm just down on the river, just casting back and forth.
You know what? Michigan is a good fly fishing state. Like the Pierre Marquette, and stuff are and I just don't. That's the one hobby that I don't know if I have the capacity to add in my life right now.
Capacity or the hand-eye coordination?
Well, I got, dude. You're talking hand-eye cord. You're talking to they call me Jimmy the Cat because of this hand-eye coordination. No, that's cool. It's interesting how that goes. Like, sometimes I'm like, I go up to my cabin to hunt. It's like, that's an hour away. That's kind of a long drive, to go hunting. And it's not 2 hours, that's for sure.
Yep.
So this year we were talking ahead of time, you did some elk hunting this year, and some of your videos actually just came out. I think one I was watching from your profile. Big, I think it's called Big in all caps, Public Land, and then Bulls in all caps.
Yep. I had to look because I was like, which hunt was that again? But
yeah,
that was like it was 4 years ago, and it was a great hunt. It was a lot of fun, and I ended up killing a smaller bull than I hoped, but that's hunting. That's why it's called hunting and not killing, because it's such a challenge out there.
They call that pulling a Jared. Oh,
there's got to be a story for that.
Oh, it's life. You know what I mean? So his life tells the story.
It's one story. It's my life story.
Oh man. Oh, we kid. No, that's although. Yeah, Jared. I won't even say anything else.
Thank you. You're gonna beat a man
Jared
down
was on a tear, actually. Up until this season, you were on a good hot streak of deadliness. You left a wake of destruction in the woods, but you're ice cold right now, which is why I record remotely. I don't want any of that to rub off on me.
Can you hear it? Oh, my voice is awful right now.
He's shook. So, So you so as part of this magazine, you go on these hunts. How are you planning it? Like, have you planned next year? I know you're talking about Iowa, but are you looking at going to Alaska or going to other states, or how does that work?
Yeah, I have my dream hunt category, and then I have the practical hunt category. And it's been a couple years since I've done anything too extreme. I mean, I still hunt out of state, whether it's Idaho or Colorado or Montana, but Alaska is always on the list. I really want to get up there and hunt caribou, and I really want to go hunt Sitka blacktail on Kodiak Island. Those are probably on the top of my list on hunts that I want to do. But talking budgets and all that stuff, and we have a lot of different hunts in the office, and I can do hunts here in Wyoming or Idaho or Montana for just a fraction of what it costs to go do a hunt in Alaska, just because of travel, of course. So,
but you, I was going to say, so, I mean, a caribou is not, I mean, you could do caribou cheap.
Oh yeah.
But you want a fly-in guide, or what would you do for caribou?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a couple different options. Yeah, if you fly in and get dropped, there's always the haul road. It gets a lot of pressure, but you can do that from a truck. And
I was looking at doing that. Is that worth it?
Well, some guys are successful at it, and I think it takes a couple of years to figure it out and to be successful. And it's a timing thing too, because I've heard guys that go up there and it's a ghost town for caribou, and then other years they go up there and there's caribou everywhere. So it's a timing thing, a luck thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's worth it to go up there and do it. I know a lot of guys do it, so there's pressure, but it's not like you're hunting resident animals. So they're just moving through, and you just got to get in front of them, basically. So it's a pretty straightforward strategy. It's just a matter of being there and spending the time up there.
And that's a crazy thing to drive to fly out to Alaska, rent a truck, and you can drive literally the height, like the bottom to top of the entire state of Alaska, that's wild.
Yeah. It's like 14 hours or something.
Yeah.
I hate long trips, man. I
Really?
can't do it.
Oh, I would love that. I'm actually looking at doing that this year because I figure the whole time you're driving, caribou are in play. Like you can stop and jump out, make a stalk.
Yep. And that's the cool thing too, is you can hunt them right off the road. And I've had friends that have been up there later in the season when nobody's up there. I mean, it's 10 degrees, but photos of big bull caribou right out of their vehicle off the haul road.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to be up there on October 10th when it's 10 degrees and it's
miserable and dangerous on that road. That's ice
100%.
road, truckers road.
Exactly. It's definitely dangerous. Yeah.
That's what those guys are doing. They made a whole show about it. It's so dangerous.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing. So that's cool. So you're saying your number one dream hunt is caribou or sitka or sitka blacktail up in Kodiak?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that's my number one dream hunt. My number one dream hunt would be Kamchatka moose with a bow in Russia.
Okay, yeah.
And they actually just made bow hunting legal there in Russia. And so
bow hunting great again.
Yeah. Exactly. They definitely hunt a little different over there, but it's fun to get onto YouTube and you can look up Kamchatka moose hunting and see all those giant bulls and stuff. But I love moose. That would be probably number one on the list, or Marco Polo with a bow. But as far as attainable hunts, definitely Alaska. Like you say, I mean, you can do the haul road on the cheap, really, and then some of the blacktail hunts you can as well. 3 years ago, I went up to out of Wrangell, Alaska. It's Southeast Alaska, and I was going to go hunt on Prince of Wales Island for blacktail. And man, I got up there and then it was just 7 days straight of rain and we didn't even get to go hunting. And we ended up salmon fishing the whole time, but we got 8 inches of rain in 7 days and there's all these landslides and it was crazy. And I was like, what are the odds of this happening?
What a week to be there.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, once again, that's not very expensive to go do a hunt like that. I mean, yeah,
that's like a dream. And that, I guess what makes it great is you can get rained out or, you get into whatever, but that's a pretty attainable hunt that those hunts out there. I would say if I had to pick no, Jared, what would your hunt you could pick?
No, you keep going.
Man. You don't hunt a man, Jared. You don't hunt a man. What would you hunt? It doesn't have to be even the hunt of a lifetime. Like if you could pick next year, what would you hunt? Anything.
Man.
Whitetails with your good pal James?
Sure.
Wow. You've been a turkey man lately. I could see turkey, just some turkey paradise place.
I have paradise. I know right where it is.
It's true. Every year.
Repeatable.
Yeah, we've got a spot that Jared has picked out here in Michigan that every opening morning he goes out. That turkey's, unless you miss, like that turkey's going down.
I mean, I know where they roost.
Yep.
And partner around anywhere else, but I think if I had one good choice next year, if I wanted to go do something, it would definitely be an elk hunt.
Yeah,
I want to hear them dogs bugling on the side of the mountain.
That's different for us, Dan. We don't we don't get that around here.
Well, I've heard elks bugle, but doing it, seeing it, and hearing it in person, actually feeling that reverberatory sound up close that I hear everyone talk about, I want to hear that.
Yep, for sure. I mean, that's a reason right there why it's my favorite thing to do is to bow hunt elk. That's the number one. Yeah, largely for that reason.
I can see that.
Jim?
Well, I told you, man, I want to hunt a man. No, I think next year, if I could pick I want to do a caribou hunt. I've been looking at caribou. Moose is high up there too. Those are kind of the two probably top ones for me. So I hope to do one this year. Elk is there. I've hunted elk, never gotten an elk. So, but it's not as high as the other as caribou or moose. So
yeah. Yep.
So what do you have planned for next year?
Well, nothing 100% yet, but I really want Alaska to happen. So some sort of Alaska hopefully will happen this year coming up. Just, it seems like, the travel restrictions with COVID and getting up there and being able to, do all that stuff is a little more attainable now. And I'm getting that itch to get back up there. So whether it's blacktail or caribou, I'm not quite sure yet, but yeah, that's on the list. And then of course, 2 elk hunts. I tried to get an Idaho Elk Tag the other day when they went on sale on December 1st. And
Yeah,
Me too.
yeah, Jared did too.
yeah, that failed. I was
Big fail.
30 minutes late. I was like, oh crap, I missed the
Ooh.
yeah. So my number was 24,000 in line.
I was 12,450 something.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
He was right on it.
There were definitely zones available when I came up, but
Yep.
Being a veteran, there's a pretty slick deal to go there.
Oh yeah.
You get in-state fee, like in-state tag, like resident price tags.
Yep.
So those were sold out so quick. I mean, you got to be top 300-400.
Yeah.
You and Josh were looking at doing that, right?
Yeah, Josh Ilderton from the Untamed. We were looking on going there, but there's all like northern panhandle areas and
Yep. Exactly.
places that, just I'm sure they're elk hit there, but the success rate in those areas are just down. There's a reason they're available. At
Exactly.
12,000. So
Exactly. I fell for one of those last year and I bought a tag that nobody else wanted. And I go and I look the harvest statistics and I looked at the previous 3 years and it was 8%, 1%, and 5%. And I was like, uh-oh.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I hunted it I did 6 days in there and I covered a ton of country and I only found one spot where there were elk. And
Really?
I killed a 5-point, but there wasn't a lot of elk in there.
by the way,
I still killed a 5-point. Must be nice.
yeah, I'm bragging here.
Yeah, that's what happens when you're a guide. You get that guide eye. I feel like guides can you guys who have ever been a guide have
hubris, more like.
It could be humorous. Well, and that's not. He still went out and shot a
That's true.
5-point in a bet and he's a 1%er is what he is.
I wouldn't say that, but it's just like anything. I do it all the time. And so you figure it out. And so if you guys did something, I mean, could I go to Michigan and find a turkey? Probably not.
Jared could. Jared could up and down the street, right, Jared? Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of living out here, and I had some intel for the area. Well, I guess I wouldn't say that much. I talked to the biologist, and he's like, "Oh yeah, there's plenty of elk around." And I'm like, "Why is the harvest success too low or so low?" And he's like, "Well, it's kind of a thick area, and it's really crunchy out there, and it's just hard to sneak up on them." And I was like, "What?"
That's what everybody says for bad spots. It's real thick in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, exactly. I could tell he's giving me the runaround. It's funny. I like to call biologists to any unit I go, and you can tell within 5 minutes if they're just full of it, or if they're trying to steer you away from an area, because you figure out what questions to ask them and their response. You can kind of have an idea if, okay, I should be looking here or I shouldn't be.
Right.
And so usually most of the intel that I get, and I really use this technique, if I talk to somebody and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'll help you out," and they'll tell me an area, it probably is not very good.
Really? Okay. So then
yeah.
How do you figure out which area is good by that? What question do you ask for that?
Well, number one, anybody that, I mean, and I'm talking like if it's not a buddy, and I'll usually do like a hunt trade with somebody, so you actually have like, quality intel. But if I'm just talking to a biologist or locals or something, or somebody that claims they want to lend me free information on Instagram or whatever, it's probably not good information, or they want to steer me in the wrong direction or keep me out of a certain area. And so it's just a matter of just looking at maps and seeing where people say I should go check out and marking those off the list and go in these other areas, and it's kind of a process of elimination. And then I just build a strategy to go down there in an area if I don't have time to scout it prior, spend a week and mark areas off the list. I mean, there's either going to be elk there or elk sign there, or there's not going to be, and you keep moving.
Right.
Exactly.
And so yeah, it's literally that simple, but it just does take boots on the ground to get it figured out usually. But, I'll ask biologists or whatever. I'm like, is there a certain part of the unit, like a northern or southern portion of the unit, that there's more elk, or, do they prefer one type of habitat or the other? Like, and I'll, cite instances where, I can see on Google Earth or whatever, it's open country, and, or whatever. And there, you can tell by the response, like, oh, they'll winter here. And another thing I'll ask them too is, is there any landowner, are you guys getting complaints of landowner problems with elk or deer hitting their pivots, and they're complaining about, depredation? Because usually most of this country, there'll be private land and ag fields at the base of the mountains, and then up on the mountains it's public, so I can get in there. And usually the elk will come down the mountain, hit the ag fields, and then go back up onto public and bed for the day. And that's a very general statement, but
sure.
that happens in a lot of areas out west.
Deer do the same thing out east, but they go to the fields and then they bed in the swamps or whatever at night or during the day.
Exactly. And so, a biologist might be like, yeah, so-and-so down there by, this town, he's been having problems, or, we've had to spook elk off his place, and then I'm like, okay, well, probably that public above that property or that parcel is worth looking at, because I know there's going to be animals there. So it's stuff like that I never ask anything direct, because let's be real, if you're like, hey, where all the big bulls, you're going to get laughed at or whatever.
Yeah. Or they're just like, well, there's a lot of bulls, you just have to put in the work to find it, or something
exactly.
like that,
Yeah, exactly.
When we look out east, we'll do those. I'll call the biologist usually. Like you said, you don't really get, I don't know. I feel like every time I call them, I don't get great information. But I look at harvest statistics, and, we've talked about on the show before, but I'll look at land for sale or like hunting leases in the area.
Yep.
Because by us, people will post trail camera pictures on their hunting leases that they're trying to lease out. So it's like, well, what's the quality of deer in here? And if you're seeing, some basket eights, that's like, well, if that's what he's bragging about, I'm guessing the area is not great, or at least it gives you another point of intel before making the decision to jump into a spot.
Yep. No, exactly. I'll do that all the time too. If I have a tag for somewhere, and I'll look up that unit and the outfitters and see what kind of animals they're taking. I mean, all the outfitters post all, their kills, so you can have an idea. And a lot of outfitters, there's enough public land out here, they're hunting public, so what's out there if you just do a little digging on the outfitters for your area.
Just put in the homework, and you can figure it out, right, Jared?
Always, man.
Always. All right. Well, Dan, we're coming up on time here. We promised we wouldn't keep you all night. I know you gotta get home and stuff, but hey, for people who want to, check out Eastmans or watch the show that you produce or follow the things that you're doing, how should they do that?
Yeah, we're on all social media platforms. YouTube, Eastman's Hunting Journals is our login or our account name on YouTube. Same with Instagram and Facebook. Of course, you can stay in touch with us there. Eastmans.com, Tag Hub. We have all that on our website, where you can get connected with the magazine and all our videos. In the magazine, the Hunting Journal and the Bowhunting Journal, we have two different publications. Kind of all outlets, anything media, we're probably on it. We're on the Outdoor Channel as well during weeknights. I don't know what our new times
Waypoint
are.
TV too.
Yeah, Waypoint TV. All our seasons are on there. Yep. But Beyond the Grid TV on Instagram. We're on there posting teasers and grip and grins and
all the good stuff.
All sorts of fun content, Digiscope content. I love elk. I post a lot of elk stuff.
Awesome.
So,
well, hey man, we appreciate it. Hopefully we'll have you back on sometime.
Heck yeah. Thanks for having us, guys. I appreciate it.